Hey guys, Thomas Jr. here, aka Mustache Tom, here to review The Boy, the 2016 one, not to be confused with the one that came out in 2015. Well, besides that confusion aside, this movie features Lauren Cohan from The Walking Dead, and she's in this movie and she plays a character who's supposed to take care of this boy, but she quickly discovers that it is a doll, and the grandparents are gonna go away to some retreat or something. They said something, I don't remember what it was, but they said they had some business or they wanted to go on a vacation or something. Anyways, it's her responsibility to look after this doll, and after being there, she starts to notice strange things are happening. And while that's going on, she's being sort of flirted on by this other guy who's trying to help her out with stuff, and she doesn't know whether or not she wants to help. And she has this sister, and really, as far as her being a character is concerned, I think that's the only thing we get to know about her, is that she has a sister and that she's taking care of this doll. I think, if I remember correctly, that was the only two things I learned about her through the movie. And at some point, she started to actually want to take care of the doll after finding out either it was possessed or something along those lines. Anyways, this movie kind of failed, in my opinion. One thing that I think bogged this movie down was a combination of its poor pacing and its lack of character development. If we had been more invested in Lauren Cohan's character, I think it would have been a bit easier to go through this movie. And the fact that the doll isn't really a character, if you will, it's sort of hard to be afraid of, well, a doll. I mean, unless someone has a phobia of that kind of thing. I mean, that is, I feel like that's such a narrow way of handling it. I mean, for example, you have someone like Chucky, who's a doll, but he has a personality, so even if you're not afraid of the doll, you can still say, well, he has personality. You kind of almost cheer for him sometimes because he's so likable, even though he's a killer. And that's a weird thing to say, but I mean, at least he's a character instead of not having anything to contribute to the movie. So, one thing I will give this movie credit for is, and what I think the focus of the movie should have been instead of a doll, is the tension between her. Laura Cohan also has, her character also has a boyfriend or something, and he finally comes over, and then there's actually some tension between the three of them because the other guy was like flirting with her or whatever, and there's actually some tension there. I mean, yeah, I guess that would have fallen under the love triangle cliche. Oh, I don't know if I would call it a love triangle, but there was some tension between these three characters, and maybe that should have been the focus of the movie instead of a doll. I don't know. I mean, the doll does, like I said, doesn't have. There isn't much to go on other than he died, and there's like this past stuff and all that sort of stuff. So he doesn't really have a character per se. He just sort of has this backstory, and you don't really get to know who he was except seeing these images. And you're supposed to either assume that he was sort of a creepy boy or maybe he was an innocent boy. I don't know. I don't know which way they're trying to go, but it just didn't quite work out. So, in the end, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 10. This movie was pretty weak from its lack of character development and its in combination with its pacing. I feel like those two things together made it a bit hard to sit through without almost falling asleep. I mean, that it was that bad. I was almost falling asleep during this movie. So that's this movie, and this has been Thomas Cecilia Jr., aka Mustache Tom, and I'll see you guys next time.